Hi everybody, this is Bettina, and for this video I'd like to show you the dangers of electrical fires, or almost danger, so I got away with it. Anyway, okay, so what I would like to show you is what happened to one of my plugs that was feeding a piece of electrical equipment that I had in my basement. And the piece of electrical equipment was just as a rectifier, 120 volts in and then 12 volts DC out. So this is part of my electronic workshop. If you haven't seen my other videos, there's kind of my workshop there. I've got a video describing that, by the way. So anyway, what had happened is I was actually down here in the basement making a video of all things, and then I heard my rectifier go off, and my rectifier feeds a lot of security cameras, 12-volt cameras, so I noticed that some of them went out. So I looked into it, and I looked at my rectifier, and it was dead. So then I went over to the AC plug, and then I pulled it out, and it was warm, and very warm, actually. And I pulled it out, and this is what happened. Now, this plug here, it actually always was warm. I remember even months ago, there was always a slight warmness to it, but I thought that was actually the rectifier pulling in a lot of current and just being warm. However, that should have warned me, because it shouldn't have done that. It should have actually been nice and cool without any issues, because it doesn't really draw that much current at the load I've got. So anyway, when that happened, and that time I was making the video, I couldn't believe my eyes. So this is what happened. I mean, you can see it. It's all charred and everything. Now, no fire actually occurred. However, it was just a slow bake. And I'll show you the front part of the actual plugs. I know it's very hard to see, but I think you get the idea. And I think what had happened is the actual wires, the live and the neutral, these guys here, they were kind of twisted together, but there were no cuts. I mean, I remember making, or I'm not too sure if I made this actually, but it was fine. I mean, there was no insulation breaks or anything, but something happened, and maybe some sort of a microscopic break started, and current started leaking between the live and the neutral. Who knows? However, it got worse and worse and worse over time. And this is the result of it. So luckily no fire happened, but just a word of caution: when you're making your plugs, make sure you make them right. Make sure there are no nicks whatsoever in the wires themselves. And what I've done is I've replaced this plug, of course, with another one, and of course I don't have that here. However, I'll tell you what I did is I made a new plug, and I trimmed back the wires. I soldered the actual ends of the wires, so instead of being just stranded copper, and these ones actually were soldered too, by the way, I soldered them, and I also put some heat shrink around the wire that's exposed within the plug. So I made an extra layer of insulation just to be on the safe side, and I make sure there was no breaks or cuts or anything. And then also what I did is I put this is not heat shrink. This is the actual jacket from the original plug. What I did is I put a short piece of heat shrink around this too, so it actually encompassed all three wires plus the sheath of the cable itself, or the extension cord. I think that helps, especially when you crimp it into the plastic holder, which would crimp right in this area here. So anyway, that's what I did. And here's just a small piece of heat shrink tubing that you could actually use for the individual wires and such. So anyway, be careful when you make your plugs. Make sure they're extra safe, because you don't want a fire. This almost turned into a fire, and I was grateful that I was down here when it happened. So I caught the problem before it turned into anything serious. So anyway, that's the video. Be electrically safe and do good work, because it'll pay off. Thanks, and see you later.